You know what is nice to talk about running at the hockey players is when they have the Manitoba Sports Hall of Fame or the Hockey Hall of Fame. When you go there, and I go to all of them, I don't think I missed a Hockey Hall of Fame dinner in 30 years. I think since they started. And you run into a lot of guys that come in you haven't seen for 30, 40 years, 50 years, some of them. And it's so great to see them. And some of them come in quite often, like we're talking about Gary Alcorn. Well, Gary and I played against one another for so many years, but we also, first year I turned pro, we played together, and we were roommates in Rochester, New York. So it's always great to see Gary, and we just enjoy it. And got to know friends of his from the Toronto Marlboros and a few of the guys with there. And, you run into guys through the years and do some work with them, namely Billy Harris and Davy Keon. I remember when they started their hockey schools back in 1960, and they asked Billy, said, Ab, would you help us out in Winnipeg to get our thing started? I said, sure, because he was a friend of mine. And that's what you did. You were at the hockey fraternity, and you helped as much as you could, and you become very good friends, even though you do play against them and want to kick their butt and beat them. So, but these things happen in the hockey world, and I'm sure they still do, because I watched the Hall of Fame induction this year, and a couple of them got on and said, geez, this is, hockey, this is what it's about. I learned from here and there and everybody. And he said, this hockey is a big family. That statement was said many, many years ago, and they're still saying it. And the hockey players are still a big family. And the alumni now make it for the NHLers that much more so. And you go back and you see guys. I had seen a lot of guys from the Montreal Canadiens for years, and I go to Chicago all the time. And we were there I go for the alumni golf, and they started at 1990, I guess, when they really got the alumni going, type of thing, and started having some golf tournaments. And I'm in Chicago, and I'd always go there for at least a week, probably 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, and golf with my old centerman, which was Stan Mikita. And the golf tournament that they have was the Stan Mikita alumni golf tournament. And so we had the meeting, and I always went down there time so I could help put the packages together and do everything. And I stayed with Stan, as my wife and I always visit with him. And we were at a meeting with the other alumni, and there was about 10, 12, 14 of us, and the guys that would come and some of the guys would help for the golf tournament. And we're sitting there, and Stan says, well, you guys want to know why the alumni? He said, because we get together, he said, and we're friends. He said, see that guy down the other end? And they're pointing at me. He said, we played together in 1960. He said, we were good friends. He said, that's 1990 now, or 92, 95. He said, we're greater friends today than we ever were. So this is what the alumni do for the guys. And friends, as I say, when you play with a team that you've won with, you're friends forever. You're friends for life.